Nearly 2 years have gone by and still no answers in the Maggie Long murder case. The mystery has captivated so many people. It's now the most listened to episode on Tegna's True Crime Chronicles podcast. Here's an update on the case in this DBL's Real Crime Mysteries.
Maggie Long grew up in Bailey, a small Colorado town just 50 miles west of Denver. The teen was passionate about life, theater, and volunteering.
She was a smart, beautiful 17-year-old girl who was in charge of the VIP section for the concert at our high school on Friday night, December 1st, 2017.
That night, she left the concert to run home and grab cookies and water for the audience, telling her friends, "I'll be right back." Maggie was never seen again. That same night, a 911 call comes in reporting a fire at Maggie's family home. Her body was found burned inside, but the public had no idea because of a gag order.
It was very frustrating, and it made a lot of people angry that there was nothing ever said. You know, there was no updates.
2 agonizing months went by until former Park County Sheriff Fred Wagner finally held a press conference.
It is apparent that a burglary had occurred and the house was set on fire.
The public learned that guns, ammunition, and valuables were stolen from Maggie's home that night, but were told not to worry.
We are very confident that there is no threat out there right now to anybody else.
The media quickly caught on.
Sheriff Wagner held one press conference on the Maggie Long case, insisting to reporters there was no public threat. He decided to end his term in Florida, fishing, mostly handling the job through email.
Sheriff Tom McGraw took over in January 2019 and made Maggie's case his top priority, and the public's too.
It saddens me greatly to tell you that Maggie was purposely set on fire and burned alive. We believe this was a targeted crime and that there were at least 3 suspects still at large.
For the first time, we see images of the burned home and sketches of the 3 suspects and their cars spotted leaving the property.
They deliberately chose to take her life.
2 years later, finally some information, but no arrests. Who are these 3 suspects, and why would they kill Maggie?
Most, if not 90% of crimes, are solved by a citizen. A tip, a lead, which just leads detectives to another tip, another lead.
Billboards plastered throughout Colorado plead for the public's help. Who killed Maggie Long?
Horrific. We're joined now by Noel Brennan, reporter from our sister station, 9 News in Denver. Noel, you've been covering this case since it broke, and right now there is a $50,000 reward for any new leads. Are there any new leads? Are we going to catch these people?
Well, the short answer with the leads is no. The last press conference we had was January of this year, and that's when they released those 3 suspect sketches, and that's really the latest piece of information that we have. These 3 guys that spent a long time in the house with Maggie and were involved in her death.
Well, that leads me to my question. You were at that press conference and you asked the sheriff what the heck took him so long to come out with this. Did his answer satisfy you?
So there were 2 press conferences. I think you're referring to the first one, which was 2 months after Maggie was murdered. So
2 months?
2 months, yeah. So she was killed December 1st, 2017. The first press conference wasn't until February.
As a parent, I would be seeing red. It's unacceptable.
Yeah, so the sheriff at the time said it just had to do with all the they had so much information coming out in the case that they were processing.
Or was he just fishing? Yeah. I mean, that just really angers me.
Sure.
Now we have these new leads on the suspects' faces, the sketches. Do you think that will help? And how did we get these sketches? How did people find these trucks that were just missed before?
So we don't know who provided those sketches to police. There was a tenant.
We don't even know.
There was a guy who was renting a place inside the house who was also in the home when the fire happened and when Maggie was killed. We don't know who this person is. His name hasn't been released. And so we're assuming maybe he was the one that provided the descriptions of those 3 men.
Wow. So your reporting was featured on Tegna's True Chronicles or True Crime Chronicles podcast, and it is the most listened to podcast. Why? And I've we've covered some of the cases, and I continue to delve into many of the cases. Why is this case so fascinating to the listeners, do you think?
I think it comes down to Maggie and the awful way in which she died.
Yeah.
I think that gets a lot of people's attention. I think it was the slow release of information in the case.
The upset, the unjust.
Absolutely. But really, Maggie, I mean, she was this girl that was beloved in this community. In the piece that you shared, I mean, she was involved in so many different things in her high school. She did theater. She was on the softball team. She was 2 weeks shy of her 18th birthday when she was killed. And what she planned to do on her 18th birthday, she wanted to pass out sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to the homeless.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So how do we honor her? How do we make sure that her name lives on?
I think keep talking about her. Keep talking about this case. The fact that we're talking about it today, I think, is helpful. This community is not going to forget her because she is so beloved there. But keep the pressure on investigators to keep this a priority.
Thank you, Noel. We need to get these people caught. We really do. So please, anybody seen anything, report it. She deserves justice. Absolutely. Thank you, Noel. If you want to read more on this case or listen to the podcast, go to 9news.com.